A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. This novel takes place in Brooklyn in the 1910s and is told from the perspective of Francie Nolan, a young girl who has a lot of hopes for the future and is very naive and idealistic, and she grows up in this world where there's a lot of stereotypes, a lot of what we would call racism and sexism and prejudicial things, but everything is told from her perspective. So you get these things that she doesn't see as terrible, she just sees them as that's the way the world is. It's an interesting look over a several year time period where she starts to grow up and her attitudes change pretty subtly. I found it interesting that this book was written in 1943. So looking back on the 1910s is looking back just 30 years. So that'd be us writing a book that took place in the 1990s. That's how fresh this world was to her, which I think is fascinating in and of itself. This is how a person in the World War II time frame saw the World War I time frame. I think one of the main themes of the book is poverty. Francie Nolan's family isn't rich. They have to do what they can to get by. Their father is struggling to make money, and that class dynamic is a constant theme. And I think the book has a redeeming view of poverty. It's not something that we can just look down on and brush those people away. There are a lot of amazing stories that the poverty tends to hide. I thought the book was very well written. I think the author brings up a lot of really good points. In fact, I would say that this book could only be written by someone who has had a lifetime of interesting thoughts. The book's very well thought out, and it's a solid thumbs up from me. One issue that I had was almost every character has a name that ends with E. Francie, Neely, Mary, Johnny, Frankie, Sissy, Gussie, Twiggy. Like, it's crazy. It's so common that you think she's doing it on purpose for some reason, but I still don't know what's going on with that. Is that just a Brooklyn thing? Everyone's name ends with E? I don't know. Overall, I'd give it 4 stars. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below.